Hello, my name is Joshua Cardoza, and this is my presentation on the character trait commitment. Commitment is the basis for success and excellence. It is required in order to effectively pursue goals and produce achievements. It is something that should be strived for every day when you want to produce greatness. In the wise words of Coach John Wooden, make each day your masterpiece. Merriam-Webster defines commitment as an agreement or pledge, an engagement, or being obligated or emotionally impelled. And this is the basis of my definition. But in this presentation, I'll elaborate further on how commitment can be fostered in a sports program, developed as a lifelong character trait, examples of role models that had it, and how the Bible teaches us the importance of commitment. I believe commitment can be summed up with a single definition: dedication to a cause that has meaning. Commitment requires dedication to pursue a goal that has meaning to you. Commitment never exists without purpose. You are never committed to anything in life unless there's a reason to be committed to whatever it is. In sports, building commitment should be one of the primary focuses for coaches because it can be one of the hardest traits to develop in all athletes, but can also lead to tremendous results for a sports team. Commitment needs to be something developed within everyone on the team, whether it's the coaches, leadership, or their teammates. Commitment can be fostered through our faith in Christ. Faith we have in Him is an example for the athletes we work with, the strength we need to persevere through difficulties. 2 Corinthians stated, "We are pressed on every side by troubles, but not crushed and broken. We are perplexed because we don't know why things happen as they do, but we do not give up and quit. We are hunted down, but God never abandons us. We get knocked down, but we get up and again and keep going." Commitment is also built through trust and reliability. James stated, "Above all, my brothers, do not swear either by heaven or by earth or by any other oath, but let your yes be yes and your no be no, so that you may not fall under condemnation." Brock Purdy, current quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, is an example in sports of a player who has shown commitment throughout his career. He attended Iowa State and stood out with setting multiple school records. He was then drafted in the 2022 NFL Draft as a last pick, earning the title as that year's Mr. Irrelevant, something that would quickly become ironic. As a player, he was known for his dedication to never miss training. People doubted his agility in the NFL setting, but he never missed an opportunity to improve upon it. I believe his coach, Kyle Shanahan, quickly recognized this because he stated during preseason that Purdy was the team's best quarterback. After the starting and second string quarterbacks both went out of commission, Brock Purdy stepped up and took the team to the NFC Championship before being injured himself. He was not complacent during the 2023 preseason, spending time rehabbing his injury while also increasing his weight through physical training. In the 2023 season, he proceeded to take the team even further, this time to the Super Bowl. He has demonstrated faith and commitment through his football career, and his coaches always recognized that in him. When someone has commitment to what they do, it is always immediately recognizable. The following clip is from the movie McFarland USA, where the main character, Jim White, shows his commitment to his athletes by putting himself in their position and worked in the fields early with them. This helped him develop empathy for his athletes and also prove that a coach can develop commitment from their athletes through putting themselves in their shoes. The Apostle Paul, too, is a biblical example of a man who changed his life around completely through his faith and commitment to Christ. He once persecuted Christians, and after being blinded and blessed again with sight, he began preaching the message of Jesus Christ. He fostered faith and trust from others throughout Europe and Asia Minor because he was committed to connecting with people even if they spoke different languages. His commitment to Christ showed in his desire and willingness to relentlessly spread his message everywhere he traveled. One of my favorite quotes is from 2 Timothy, when Paul was awaiting his trial by the Romans and gave Timothy his final ministry. He tells him, "As for you, always be sober-minded, endure suffering, do the work of an evangelist, fulfill your ministry. For I am already being poured out as a drink offering, and the time of my departure has come. I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith." Someone in my life that I think represents commitment well is Coach Gary Hayflick. He influenced me to pursue strength training through his dedication to the sport of powerlifting. He built a powerlifting team at my high school, Golden Valley, that lasted for many years, and that was because he was committed to getting them access to the weight room as much as possible and found the athletes opportunities to compete. This led him to also host powerlifting competition at Golden Valley twice a year, and after he retired from both the powerlifting team and competition continued, and he still played an active role in maintaining it. His commitment came from a passion for the sport powerlifting and changing his athletes' lives by them growing a passion for the sport as well. Coaching with commitment begins with dedication to excellence for every student. It is done through devotion, faith, and love. It is required a coach to believe in his athlete and build their confidence through them knowing that. And it is also through having a loving relationship investment into the athlete. A coach's commitment also shows through doing whatever they can to set their athletes up for success. And each of these helps construct the idea of the inverted pyramid that Christ teaches us to uphold as well. And that the coaches teach leadership to work together to build up their teammates and create an environment of growth and positivity. Determination is also an essential facet of coaching that every player should learn, which is the idea that with time and effort, goals can be achieved. The legendary coach John Wooden is a great example of this, as is described by Jim Canal. John Wooden led the UCLA Bruins for 15 seasons before ever winning an NCAA championship. After that, they won 10 championships in a 12-year period, and 7 of them back to back. The time spent honing the team created incredible history-defining results. For leadership to show commitment, they should set the example for what it means to be dedicated to the success of the team. The go green mentality, confidence in oneself and the team, is incredibly important because of how contagious it can be. It fosters a place where athletes are unafraid to make mistakes if it means striving towards greatness. A leader committed to their team builds camaraderie amongst them, treats everyone like they are their own brother or sister, which shows the love they have for one another. Committed leader also should also always be on time, the first to be ready to work and the last to leave to help make sure everyone and everything is taken care of. Finally, a leader too should always be prepared and resourceful in order to bolster the pursuit of success. Through coaches and leadership proving their commitment to their team, they lay the foundation for the team to discover commitment to one another. This will show us confidence in themselves and one another to achieve success and be inspired to seek greatness, treat one another like a family member, and develop trustworthiness and reliability that everyone is there to help each other be the best team they can be. The picture here is one of many pictures I take every year of the senior class that I coach through the fall and eventually winter drumline seasons. A committed coach shows their care and empathy for their team by spending time connecting with every athlete. Coaches should take time to understand their athlete and make sure the athlete knows the coach always believes in them. A committed coach should always come to practice with a plan and ready to execute it. And part of this is also to have access to any resources that athletes may need to improve their performance. Through this conscious effort of committed devotion to the team, coaches show their athletes a belief that every teammate is important. A committed leader is someone who always tries to be the example and be the representation of work ethic they want to see in their fellow teammates. This is all based on their actions, like having confidence in themselves, the team, and the coaching because they know every member of the organization is important. A leader should want to connect with their teammates like they are family and never let them feel like they are separate from everyone else. It is important too that leadership does not make excuses and owns their actions, leaves no messes for someone else to clean, and is always ready for productive practice by having what they need, whether it is physical resources or a positive mentality. Moses was the committed leader for the Bible, who used his knowledge of Egypt and faith in God to lead the Israelites through Egypt for over 40 years. His commitment was based on his faith, and that inspired the Israelites to have the same faith in Moses and God that they will find their promised land. Despite his increasing age and eventual death, his sacrifice as a leader helped his people find their homeland and prosper. Joe Ehrman, coach of the Gilman High School football team, listed Moses as one of his personal role models. For his reasoning, Ehrman said he chose Moses because of him accepting God's call to liberate the oppressed people and his commitment to understanding himself and his flaws in order to become a transformational leader. This commitment to growth and transformation for himself and all his people is the same mentality every coach and leader should have as well. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you leave it with a desire and commitment to become a better leader and coach too.